So let's go to game number 1. And here they are, compared to the previous Super Heavy Samurai mirror match, he actually is playing the streamlined version, I would say, even with the Ancient Gear package and the Appaloosa. So it seems like the very first version of the deck that we saw around. This is obviously from Luca, Pants Lion. On the other end, we have Emmanuel with his Mathmec deck, and let's see first of all who will go first in this matchup, and it is the Samurai deck. Huge die roll one.
Yeah, I mean, especially like in this kind of matchup, I think it's super relevant because, I mean, also Mathmec going first, if he is able to put up the super factorial combo with a couple of entraps, it's just, you know, very, very difficult to come back into it. And it looks like here Luca started things off, I mean, like with the bike and then with the Wakaushi. And also looks like that maybe Emmanuel is not super familiar with the Super Heavy Samurai deck.
Surprisingly though, since it's one of the most popular decks.
And indeed, he's taking a look at these cards and yeah, I mean, indeed, we can see that he's asking his opponent some clarification about this. And yeah, I mean, at this part of the tournament, still, I mean, it will be surprising that he hasn't faced yet a Super Heavy Samurai player.
But yeah, as streamlined as ever, we get to the Soul Piercer. And that's obviously more than enough to just combo through. At the same time, we do have a lot of different options. And surprisingly enough, a lot of chew-offs.
Yeah.
Usually you see entraps being played as free-offs. Instead, Emmanuel has prioritized the chew-off very different cards and even a surprising Ghost Bell mained.
Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, I think this is one of the, let's say, earliest version of the deck, playing the Ancient Gearbox. And I think entering this tournament, though, taking a look at the Luca's extra deck, I think you might be having problems facing Kashtira, just because you have so many one-offs in your extra deck.
Yeah.
Still, I think the strategy is working out very well.
And now we're gonna get to see the Scarecrow. Let's see if there is a Ghost Bell who actually are drawing the Infinitrack, which is not that bad.
I mean, it's okay. It's, I mean, of course, like you wanna search it, but I mean, even if you draw it, it's
not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And here we obviously see the Axel. Again, gonna use a lot of his cards, setting up the scale back, special summoning back the level 2 and adding a card. And we see the Marner, which is decent at best, if you ask me. The best thing it does is probably preventing the Baron if you have an Ibiru, though. If you have an Ibiru, this could be really good. If not, I think Luca can easily just bring out the scales, get back the level 2 and still go into the Baron. So let's see. He's maining Chunibiru, so we could see one of those. Obviously, those are also a bridge for the free copies of Small World. And yeah, here it is, the one copy of Soul Peacemaker, one of the largest, I think, differences. But there is an Ash Blossom, which is pretty nice here.
Yeah, I think as you were mentioning, there has been a shift in the sense that Soul Peacemaker was initially played as a one-off.
Yeah.
And then now, I think, like, it's playing 3 copies.
Even 3 offs. Yeah.
So it's...
But
it's been quite a change.
Let's see. We might have just a Pendulum Summon of 1, maybe. Yeah, okay. Another drone. Bike allows Luca to still go into the Baron and go then for an Infinitrack, I think, to draw 2. But this is exactly what Emanuel was hoping for.
Yeah.
This is a very super turn 1 by the super heavy deck. At the same time, those 2 cards are gone off the end from your opponent. So that's fair enough. And there he goes. Gonna shuffle back 5, draw 2. Is there a ghost spell, maybe? Okay. Cards are being shuffled back. He's gonna draw 2 cards, but with the normal and pendulum summon gone, there is not much that he can draw into.
Yeah. And I think the only way he could have summoned the Baron was indeed by hard drawing the bike at this point.
Yeah, I mean, or the scales, I guess.
Scales,
but yeah,
yeah.
he had a few options, but not the worst considering how the situation was going for. And these 2 draws obviously can also be entrops, which would be okay, but I do expect to end his turn here. And yeah, draw is back to Emanuel. Let's see if he can fight back. Obviously, a circular would be really nice. He just needs to fight against this Baron and some potential entrops. And there is a small word to start things off. And wow, surprisingly, he's going to use the Baron on the small word.
And he has the circle.
Usually you want to keep it in hand because the small word is a -1, but this could get real ugly for Luca. If he doesn't have an entrap, this is game. And it doesn't seem like there is a response, not even now. Wow. This could be over real soon, as mentioned, thanks to the access code talker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think activating the Baron on the small world, it's risky, honestly, because...
yeah, kind of like a premature baronization. But now, let's see, he's gonna go for his XYZ. And can still totally go for the OTK if he feels like it.
I think he has a chance. Is Luca playing Nibiru? Yes, he does. I mean, he didn't activate yet any interruption, so
yeah,
maybe he's holding a copy of Gamma or Nibiru. We will soon find out. But if he doesn't, of course, if Emanuel feels like this is his chance, he might be pushing and seal the game. Now he goes with the diameter.
And yeah, he's just gonna try an OTK, hoping that his opponent doesn't have anything else.
It looks like this is working out.
Maybe Nibiru could be there. He's really taking his time here, but yeah, he has to go for it. Goes for the update. Even further, wow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if there's no Nibiru.
Yeah. Makes sense. Luca still reading his cards. Is there this Nibiru there? And now, as you can see, he's gonna go for the access code, which can attack twice. Still no response. Is this really gonna be it? And that's it. Wow.
Wow.
What a show from Emanuel, coming back and winning game 1. Very surprising start, I gotta say. It seems as if Luca had enough. but then all it took was a Nash Blossom and a Ghost Mourner, and that's it. Maybe the Baron activation could have been different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, without any entraps, I think this was game regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, like in general, I don't think that you really expect your opponent basically to shut down your entire strategy just like that, you know, because sometimes the Mortar and a Nash Blossom are not enough.
I mean, sometimes you feel like you have to negate the small word because they play some one-off kaijus. So maybe if you do not go for that, they can kaiju away your Baron. But I don't know if that's a risk that you are just willing to accept. Regardless, now it's gonna be Luca once again going first and trying to go for his combos. Do you think he has anything to change in his side deck?
I mean, in general, I think the Ghost Bell is good against Mathmec. So if he really wants to go first,
I agree.
I mean, he could side them in and just make some changes. He plays some, you know, something that we don't see quite often, like, for example, maybe we'll mention later.
Yeah, I mean, he has the OGs, we can say. The OG spell and trap negations, which are Shinzo, but most importantly, spell canceller, which, though I don't think it's for this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think so.
On the other hand, instead, Emmanuel has already a pretty large entrop package. And he kind of completes some of these sets in the side deck. Again, sticking with this chew off, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But he has chew drone lock, amazing here.
Yeah.
Maybe the Pancratops is always a nice inclusion. This one random copy of Lightning Storm. But we could see. Usually you would see these one-offs with the Trust.
Yeah.
He's not really using Trust. But he has just one Storm, a couple talent, and, you know, your usual going second card. I think, regardless, it's gonna be a great game 2. Is it gonna be Emmanuel with the 2 sweeps going second, or can we go to game 3? Our duelists are finishing, signing up, but I think we can go back to the table for game number 2. Here they are. So once again, Luca trying to set up his combos. Gonna go first. Let's see whether it's gonna be Luca or Emmanuel winning this game 2. Here they are. It really all comes down to this, and a start that is decent with the Fenrir. Usually you don't use the effect because the draw and lock would hurt significantly, but I am a fan of the Fenrir in this deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good addition in general, and I mean, it's one of those bodies on the field that...
Yeah, I think it's better for going second than it is for going first. But going second, it's amazing, because obviously this deck cannot afford spell and traps.
Yeah, exactly.
So even against the cards like anti-spell, you know, Gozen, these kind of cards, it's an out against all of them. And I really, really like it. But now, let's see if there is a drawn and lock from Emmanuel. Definitely one of the turning points. No.
He doesn't. Okay.
So once again, we are in a similar spot as in game 1.
And let's see if this time it will be, let's say, enough for Luca, as it was not in game 1.
Yeah. And as you can see, he's going for some of his combos, while surrounding him are some of the judges, such as Albatros from Naples. But do you think he's just aiming for the same Baron combo? I would say so, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I will go for that line, especially because we mentioned that.
Okay.
Okay, there's the impermanence of being activated, which I think makes sense. But I think that Luca can still go through this. Like in general, what you're really looking for with this deck, looking at his deck list, is that you really want to put up the Appaloosa if you really feel like with either the Savage Dragon or...
Okay, and there is no response. Okay, no Ash Blossom this time. Just this impermanence, and this is huge. The scales, just special summoning back the Soul Piercer. So much advantage. And now you can obviously go once again for a level 8 synchro. I mean, going as greedy as it gets, but if your opponent does not interrupt you, this is why we saw a lot of players cutting this engine, because it's essentially two completely dead cards, as you can see here.
Yeah.
But they are also for free, so it's, you know, one of those weird arguments when you build your deck. But for now, he's forced to just go for the Marner, which I'm not a big fan of either, I gotta say. Like, you stop two cards from being added, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really get any advantage out of this, honestly. And this is pretty much what we have saw in game one.
Yeah.
But the difference is that basically I don't really think that Emmanuel is sitting in a better position in game one. So it's... I mean, having turn interruption, I think it's okay, but it's not enough.
And this is actually a nice addition, one of the extenders in the deck. Obviously, the one-off booster, which you can use now to go into the Axel and then the Baron.
Yeah.
So, obviously, setting up the full pendulum scale and going into a Baron. Is there a Nibiru from Emmanuel? Doesn't seem like it, and this will look like a much better end field for the super heavy samurai player. Especially because he's using the Appaloosa version, and Appaloosa is actually nice against Mathmec.
And yeah, he also has the Wagon. I mean...
Yeah, Wagon gonna be using its effect, just getting potentially some more recursion from next turn. Or if he feels like it, he can go for another extender and end on Ferrir Baron Appaloosa, for example. And it seems like it. This is one of his side deck cards. It's essentially an interesting card, which is the Super Heavy Samurai Soul Claw. It's either an extender or it makes your monster not destroyed by battle. So what you can do is use it here as an extender, or it's also nice because it could have gone for an Appaloosa that cannot be destroyed by battle, potentially if you switch it another way, but obviously in general you can only use it on super heavy samurai monsters. And yeah, here it is, Appaloosa, Baron, Fenrir. Can his opponent break this field? It starts things off with the Mathmec Circular, which is gonna banish face down with the Fenrir. Nice catch. And I think he's looking rough for him.
And let's see now here, plays back, and I mean, we've said this before, and in general, if you don't really get to see any of your draw log, for example, or Nibiru, is going to be very, very difficult to play against this kind of deck. On the other hand, I think that here we are seeing one of the cards that we haven't seen so far, the Super Ancient Organism, being activated by the manual. And this is one of those cards that, I mean, has become popular over the last few months. And yeah, I mean, I think here just having some, you know, some sort of explanation and of what the card does. In general, let's say for what we have seen at the moment, I think that having the Appaloosa on the field alongside the Baron is very, very good. The Super Ancient Organism, of course, it's, I think, a very good addition that Mathmec can afford to play. And, I mean, in general, I like this. It's, I like this. So, I mean, here, Luca is continuing to combo off. And it doesn't seem like that Emmanuel has drawn into any other, you know, interruptions or Nibiru or anything else. And let's just see here if he is able to basically seal the game in this turn, because basically Emmanuel is shaking his head, and it is probable that we might be seeing soon this game being in Luca's favor. We said this before, like the infinite impermanence alongside the Mourner was not enough. Sometimes true hand traps against the super heavy samurai deck are not what you're looking for, especially if they're not draw log, for example, or the Nibiru. Yeah, looks like that Luca is free to do whatever he wants to, and he's now going for the Genius and also getting rid of the Super Ancient Organism. But looks like that there was a little bit of confusion here.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a card that you would expect against a deck like Branded. It's considered the mystic mine of Branded, we can say. Against a deck like Super Heavy, I'm really surprised because it doesn't really stop all of what they are doing. So it's definitely an interesting idea.
And yeah, I think it will be just a matter of time before here we will soon see this game being sealed by Luca. And yeah, it's just going once again with these effects. And looks like Emmanuel picks up his cards, and we will be having a game 3.
And yeah, as mentioned, we are going to game 3, so it's 1-1. And in the meantime, we can go back to us. And we are back with the winner of round 5, Emmanuel. We will go through the winner's interview, but since he is not too comfortable with his English, what we're going to go through is I'm going to interview him in Italian, and we are going to use this as an excuse to let Alberto speak a little more, and he will translate everything to English afterwards. So, anzitutto, congratulazioni, bravo per aver vinto. E come ti senti a proposito?
Mi aspettavo di stare qua
Ok.
perché sto male da tutto il giorno,
Ah.
però per fortuna adesso sto sentendo i denti e vado avanti
Dai.
e cerco di dare il massimo.
So I've been feeling sick today, but I'm trying to do my best and staying here. So
E dai, comunque hai giocato bene, è stato un bel future e in generale comunque sei il primo Mathmec che vediamo. Quindi anzitutto perché hai portato questo mazzo, cosa ti piace del mazzo?
Per me è il mazzo più stabile che c'è, ha sempre, quasi sempre partenza, è il più semplice da giocare per un evento grosso e poi puoi giocare anche delle cose HT che in questa vita sono tanto.
Certo.
Poi ho giocato anche tanti che tutti si aspetterebbero di me che io non gioco tipo i troll. E niente, questo. La stabilità. Perde solo da, purtroppo da
Rice.
Ice, Cashmere.
So we saw that you've been the first Mathmec player today in our future match area. So why did you decide to play the deck? And the answer was that so it's the easiest deck that you could have bring today, with a lot of end traps as well. And it was feeling confident with the deck. It's going well. It's not main deck in Jordan Lock Bird, which might be a little bit weird, but it's having them in the side deck, and yeah. So
Assolutamente, ancora ti facciamo ovviamente il nostro in bocca al lupo per il resto dell'evento, sperando di vederti qui. E niente, quindi thank you guys for this one. I don't need that translation. We just wished him best of luck for the rest of the event. Hopefully we will see more of him later on, but regardless, he's advancing with a 5-0 record, so pretty impressive stuff. But still 4 more rounds remaining for the day, so keep watching and we will be back with round number 6.